Hi sewing friends, welcome to my sewing room. My name is Beth. It's nice to be with you today, and if you're new, welcome. Today I'm making a quilt block I'm calling Off Kilter. I have some blocks behind me, getting ready to put them all together. It uses a background fabric. Mine is white, 8 inches square, and 3-inch wide strips. So that's all it takes. I tried to use a variety of blues to go with that white background, and I think it's coming out really pretty. Sort of has a modern look to it. So let's get started. Here are my first 3 blue strips. I'm going to be sewing them together, and they're all cut the width of the fabric. And if you have a set of 3, for each set of 3, I should say, you should get about 5 of our 8-inch squares, which makes 2 blocks. So I guess that's 10 quilt blocks for every strip set that you make. So I'm going to keep sewing my strips together, and then I'll show you how we attach them with our background square. First, I'm going to trim that edge and make it nice and straight. And now I will cut this strip set into 8-inch segments. And I need to use my cutting mat to do this because my ruler is not quite big enough. So that ruler is 6 inches. I just need to add 2 inches and I'll have my 8. And this block at this point does not need to be exact. So if you're close to 8 inches, you'll be just fine. So I'm going to cut my squares, and then we can make our blocks. I'm laying my background piece down and my strip block on top, and now I'm going to do my cutting. So I'm going to make 2 angled cuts on the top. Mine sort of angle from the right to the left and the left to the right, and then in the middle I want 1 angled cut through the center piece. And the only trick there is not to cut too close to the seam. So I cut at least a 1/2 inch away from the seam. But I want all of those cuts to be at a sort of an angle. Now I need to arrange my little pieces, every other one, to make 2 different blocks. So as you can see, the left side has the strip set on the outside corners, and the right side has the background on the outside corners, and the opposite for the bottom. So there's my 2 blocks. If I just keep them arranged next to my sewing machine, I can sew them each together, row by row, and then put those rows together. And as I go, since it's cut at an angle, the points of those little pieces will hang off just a little bit, and that's normal. And this block is very forgiving because we are trimming when we're done, we're going to trim just a tiny bit. Things don't have to match up perfectly. And I did not try to match my seams on these two pieces as well. Once I get my top and bottom row together, I did not try to match the seams. It's such a free form block anyway, yeah, it doesn't matter. So there we go, we have our two pieces together, and now we'll put our right sides together and sew these together. After getting my blocks together, I need to trim them, and I'm trimming mine to 6.5 by 7.25. That is the size that fit and that left the least amount of waste. I'm a frugal quilter, and I could make these square, but I thought it would be nice to get as much out of that block as I could. So I'm going to cut them 6.5 by 7.25. And like I said, you could cut them square if you'd like. And so they will be rectangles, not squares, so you'll only have one option to position them. The like sides will need to be together. Quilting is fun. You can make decisions as you go along, and you can make it your way. And I love that about quilting. These are your beautiful blocks, and the only question is, how will you lay them out? So have some fun, turn them this way and that, and see what you prefer. It's fun using some different blues in this quilt. You may choose red or pink or another color, but I thought it was a lot of fun to choose some different colors, and this block is kind of surprising. You never know really what it's going to look like until you cut it up and put it together. It's a fun block, and I thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.